know this stuff keeps me up at night. I don't know if it keeps many of you up at night, but it's as exhilarating and exciting as it is frightening in some ways. So it's taking the industry by storm, in every industry, I would say. So let's dive in and get started.
As for the artificial intelligence section that we're focused on here, primarily I would say the restaurant tech that's being used at this point I would say fairly falls within, let's just say, in the voice ordering or the conversational AI element of AI.
We kind of highlight from a TikTok standpoint, there were over 2 million views on our video at Carl's Jr. on the day we launched. And how did the customers enjoy interacting with the AI, and what is their experience from that standpoint? How do the employees feel emotionally after experiencing working with AI products? I think that emotional component is something that it will transcend and bring AI into the future realm of everyday use.
Just some stats here, a high percentage of calls go unanswered. Every time we deploy phone, frankly, the ROI is just on the extra completed orders. Restaurants never seem to have any idea how many calls they're actually missing, especially at peak time. So some brands would say, we'd only do 5 phone orders a day. Typically, as soon as they deploy us, they're doing 10 to 15 in some scenarios. So super exciting there in terms of the impact we're having. And then with drive-thrus, with our deployment with White Castle, so we're in the great position to work with a fully corporate-owned brand and working with them exclusively for all of their drive-thrus. We're seeing phenomenal rates of completion and order accuracy there.
With Olga's Kitchen, they had a pretty unique kind of ask. A lot of their customers were actually those that, as soon as they were hungry, they would actually get in the car and then would order by placing a phone call in the car, so that they could pick up, have either curbside pickup or go in the store and pick up, and it's like 10-15 minutes away. And one of the things that the VP Ops for the brand told us was, our customers are mostly seniors, don't like to look at another technology adoption, and so we don't want them to start having to learn something new. And so our approach in general has been to start at a much higher threshold of accuracy when we go live, and that we do that by using real recordings between the brand and the customers and build the AI using that. So we don't use synthetic data or generic data, to build the AI for a particular brand.
On the flip side, a lot of restaurants now are just cutting hours, or they are turning off third party during certain hours because they can't handle the demand. So what we do is we use our conversational AI. So we actually have our own training data and our own data sets. We have hundreds of thousands of messages that fly through the air over text message between a candidate and an employer every day. And we also leverage ChatGPT to introduce some more tonality to the AI. But basically what we do is the sourcing, the vetting, the engaging, and the interview setup. And when you're engaging with candidates after they apply, we immediately engage them. So rather than today, on average, it takes a general manager anywhere from 3 to 4 days to get back to a candidate. We get back to candidates immediately using conversational AI, and we do so taking on the persona of the manager.
We are just focused solely on texting. We're a bunch of restaurant owners who had tech backgrounds in Santa Monica and built a solution for ourselves. And we started out texting on-prem to ease labor constraints. And basically when people just didn't show up for work, we were able to roll out a solution that ended up getting picked up in also hotels, in golf clubs, and basically through just focus on texting, where you have pretty much someone's 100% attention. No one really knew it was an AI solution that they were talking to. They thought they were talking to a human. And through our language model, we started increasing people's checks by close to 30%.
We're at this emerging field of AI operations, which is really how do we synthesize all of this data down into key decision points that your general managers are making every day. As the name implies, COGS, we focus on food. That's our primary area. How many pizzas do I need or how much dough do I need to start today? So I've got the right pizzas for lunch tomorrow, where I don't stock out, but I don't have waste. And obviously, like a lot of these companies, we've benefited greatly from things like ChatGPT, just being able to take all of that machine learning based forecasting and turn it into actionable answers to their questions.
We trained the AI with, ticket times, station times, item modifier combinations, day parts, day of the week on a location by location basis, simply to start by doing a better job predicting promise times. And with one of these first ones here, they get them right historically about 36% of the time, plus or minus 5 minutes. And then, coming out of the gate, the AI was getting it right 74% of the time.
We did this competition internally and we launched this over 48 hours. And one of the big things we noticed was when there's pictures on an item, it's four times more likely to get picked versus an item not. And that number is only higher when it's a modifier. Mm-hmm. So what we are doing is we took that team, the winning team, and we've put them on upgrading our admin panel. So this is what we've released, but the future version of this is a ChatGPT type system where a operator can say, hey, what ingredients are doing well? What should I, build with those ingredients? What menu items should I place on top versus bottom? And just have a little bit, make it conversational on, building out your digital storefronts.
Yeah, so we're LetzChat, and we do real-time language translation services and innovations. And we realized, especially now domestically in the US and even abroad as well, is everyone likes to eat and everyone needs to eat food. And the problem is with restaurants, a lot of restaurants, is they don't cater in different languages. So imagine you go to your local McDonald's or you go to Chick-fil-A, it's all in English. If you're a native Spanish speaker or you're a native French speaker, you're gonna have a really hard time looking at the menu. You're gonna have a really hard time understanding how to place an order. So we have solutions where restaurants can scan the QR code. If you actually scan these right now with your phone, you'll see sample menus of both Chick-fil-A and Red Lobster translating into a different language. So you can understand the menus for that as well. A lot of the restaurants utilize our services for also back of house, so training materials. So any of the employees that are chefs or in back of house that maybe prefer Spanish as a main language, we do a lot of translations for a few different quick service restaurants for all the training materials, as well as we can translate back of house menu boards there. So when the orders come in, we could translate into Spanish. So your order accuracy will increase and thus having less turnover. So we do all different things for restaurants with languages, from menus to back of house and to menu boards, everything like that.
Some of the brands, some places you try, right? They, with AI, it doesn't stop. You're going to continue to take orders. And sometimes people in late shifts, they might drop their entire restaurant down to one staff, right? So that person is, cooking the food, handle the guests, etc. So sometimes they take it to the extreme from that standpoint. And if you're taking orders so fast, that can create a little bit of a backup and log and stress factor for the employees. So I think there's this balance between AI throughput as well as kind of the employee aspect. Those are some things that I noticed on my end from that standpoint. So I think there's definitely a balance on how do you create the best experience for both, not just the guests, but also the employees inside.
I think the other challenge we see is on-site infrastructure. So depending on the age of things like the base station, the presence sensor, if those are 10, 15 years old and degraded, those create challenges. And so it's taken a lot of work to kind of overcome those different systems. We're seeing, especially with some of the new base stations coming out, that they're a lot more AI friendly. It is a little challenging to try to take cutting edge 2023 AI and have it play nicely with late 90s microphone audio equipment. So looking to see that on-site infrastructure improve, I think will help a lot.
Or ethical principles of such things as transparency. Can we explain it? Do we understand it? Who's responsible for it? And accountability. That is, there's a human behind every one of these decisions. There's a human behind every one of your applications. There's a human making those decisions. Are we accountable? And have we thought through the ethical issues? Have we thought through the potential implications?
Everyone's grappling with the same questions. How do you get your hands around all this? But you start by looking at the players and trying to compare them to each other and figure out who ought to be doing what, and how do we ultimately protect the consumer from this technology that's moving at a speed that's really tough to track.